Hello everyone, we are doing our Week 11 CFL recap. Now before we start, please make sure to subscribe if you are new. Trying to do this full time as a job one day. Would love to do it, and with your support could be able to. So if you like the CFL and you like my content, hit the subscribe button. Now let's get to it. And I'm putting this video a few days late. I was going to do it yesterday, had an accident at work, had to do a drug test right after work, so I had to sit at the minute clinic or whatever it's called for like an hour and a half, and that just ate up some time. Got back, and it was just a long day. Having that accident at work kind of just really set the day off after that. So let's get into the recap. First game of the week to recap for week 11 was Edmonton at Ottawa. I picked the Ottawa Redblacks to win this. Caleb Evans had been able to beat Ottawa or Edmonton before. Wasn't the case here, as the Elks win 30-12. This was a first half that had a lot of uneventful moments. I think that Ottawa was able to, get this lead because of a variety of different things. They had Caleb Evans, who was just running the ball. He accounted for like 85% of their rushing yards at the end of the first half. But in general, some of the things that kind of held them back here. Lewis Ward, I believe, missed 2 field goals in this game. And in the second half, Edmonton was all up on it as their defense shut out the Redblacks. And they had some offensive drives that were long and ate up the clock. So that'll do it there for, really just to get the dub. You got to win like this. Terrell Walker had a TD for the first time since, I think, 2019. And in the fourth quarter, we saw kind of the most memorable thing for Ottawa, in the sense that Nick Arbuckle went on to relieve Caleb Evans, who was 10 for 16 for 111 yards, but 50 of that came off one pass. In the end, Edmonton picks up their 3rd win of the year. Ottawa, not looking so pretty. Now moving on to the other game of the night, BC at Saskatchewan. This one, 28-10, BC. I was pretty happy about the win, not happy about some of the other things. But the Lions, of course, started off this game by taking a 7-0 lead. Both sides followed it up with some turnovers, and the Lions would go on a 14-3 run before making it 21-3. And then the Riders got a TD themselves, swapping Mason Fine in for Cody Fajardo, which was another thing. Multiple QB swaps this week. And then things just kind of stayed the same with a key force fumble for BC before we knew it. We were able to pick up the win. I shouldn't say we, BC. Again, trying to keep it as unbiased as possible. The problem is Nathan Rourke got injured. Out 6 to 8 weeks, if not longer. Other guys were hurt in this one. Morrow has a broken hand for Saskatchewan, as well as Duke Williams is going to be out 1, 2 to maybe 3 weeks because of a hip injury. All in all, not pretty for either side, especially for BC, as they try to weather losing the MOP candidate. And going on into the other games, Hamilton at Montreal. What a game for a variety of reasons. Montreal was able to win 29-28. First quarter was a lot like how this game went in general. Turnovers on down. This had a lot of penalties. I think there was at least 25 total penalties in this game, as we saw just 7 total points scored by both ends in the first quarter, and it was in Hamilton's favor. But it was still a really good game. Then it was the Owls with Eugene Lewis, who scored and then had a 2-point conversion to take the lead before a 54-yard field goal by the Tabbies. Made it a tied game at 11 all at the half. Montreal would go on to score in their first possession of the second half to take an 18-11 lead, get the lead back before a 14-0 lead by Schultz & Co. gave Hamilton a 25-18 lead going into the final frame. We know something about Hamilton kind of falling apart in the second half. Fast forward towards the end, and Hamilton had a 2-point lead with under a minute left to go, but it wasn't to last, as David Cote hit a game-winning 48-yard field goal to push the Owls to 4-6, second in the East, just there behind the Argos. So there's that. And then, of course, the final game featured the Argos. Calgary at Toronto, 22-29 or 22-19, I should say. Calgary won this. This was a side or an affair where both defensive groups came to play, and they cannot be tagged as the main reason their teams would have lost. In fact, Calgary's defense had some key turnovers to keep points off the board, and had another situation where they scored a pick 6 that really turned the tide. You have to think, this was where the Argos had a 19-10 lead. They were driving. You get the pick 6 to make it 19-17. You're still down by 2, but you're in a better situation. Also notable in this game, Bo Levi Mitchell, who is now first all-time in Calgary Stampeders passing yards, got replaced. 3rd quarterback this week that's a starter to get benched and then was put in. Jake Mirror, he came on, was 14 of 18 in the game, had an interception, but that was Luker Hawken of Luther, you know who I'm talking about, fell when that was thrown towards the end zone. And in general, we saw this kind of go closed out here as Calgary was able to get it done. 2 field goals later, they had the lead. Defense was out there, and they put pressure on McLeod Bethel-Thompson again. Cam Judge recovered a forced fumble, and the Stampeders left the 6 with their 6th win of the season. So that was the action there in Week 11, as the playoff picture is still starting to shape in the West really close, in the East really close. We're going to probably see it go down to the final week or 2, but we'll have to see. What are your thoughts on Week 11? Please let me know down below in the comments. Also, again, please make sure to like and subscribe. Everybody, please stay safe and have a great night.